Hey, 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 hey. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's New Year's Eve. Who else is excited? I am so excited. Oh my goodness. Wow. I really cannot believe how fast 2018 has gone, how quickly it's gone. But I am so excited about 2019. I don't know. I can just feel a special kind of energy in the air. And I want to share something with you. But before I do, I just want to refresh my page on my mobile and share this over into my group and on my profile page. So just hang on a second whilst I do that. Oh, wow, what a year it's been. Spare me 1 second. I just want to share this to my group and to my profile. I wish there was a way that we could just do this so much more quickly, but I haven't discovered what that is yet. So, but I wanted to come on here and talk to you about your word for 2019. It's a really funny thing because actually in 2018, when we crossed over from 2017 to 2018, I actually didn't get a word, and it made me think a bit more about this whole thing around getting a word, because you've probably seen it a lot, especially if you're in faith circles, but I think it's even moving out of faith circles now into spiritual circles where there's this thing about waiting for your word. And I remember when I got my first ever word, it was around 2012, 2013, and it was brand new to me. This whole idea of receiving a word was brand new to me, and a word downloaded into my spirit. And I always get confused about which one came first, because one of my words was perseverance and the other word was commitment. Both really heavy, strong words, but they suited where I was at that moment. Where I was, hey Jennifer, where I was I was all about my health. I was all about my healing journey. And I knew that in order for me to get to a place where I was just feeling a lot more healthier inside of myself. If you don't know my story, I developed an autoimmune condition in 2008. So by the time 2012, 2013 came by, I'd already been 5 years on this journey and knew that there needed to be some changes that needed to happen in my life. And so the words commitment and perseverance dropped into my spirit. I think they were individual words, one for 1 year and another for the other year. But I wasn't surprised to receive these words because I knew that I needed to step up. Hey, Jennifer, your word is ready. Fantastic. That's such an exciting word. And I'm glad that you're feeling into what that word means for you, because that's part of what I want to talk about today. Just giving a backdrop into the whole, waiting for your word and what your word means thing. So my two first ever words were perseverance and commitment. And just thinking about those words, they are quite heavy words. Oh my gosh, just thinking about them now, they just fill me with these thoughts of, work and struggle and hardship and endurance and patience and long suffering, which is basically where I was. I needed to have to deal with working and fighting and going through fiery trials and struggles and tribulations. And as each year went by, I realized that the words were not just words, we can say, hello, how are you? And those are just words. Yes, they have meaning, but those meanings are more about what we give to them and less about the energy of the words. So what I realized with each word that came, it wasn't simply about the word. It was about the energy of the word. And And because I spent a lot of time in the Messianic community, so these are Jewish people who believe in Christ, they're all about language there. I mean, the Hebrew language is such a rich body of language. And so by that stage, I knew that words were so much more than words, that they were energy, they were life, they vibrate. And so as each year went by, I recognized that actually these were so much more than words. They were prophetic, yes, but why were they prophetic? They were prophetic because they were ushering you into a new state of being, a new level of vibration, a new energetic space. Yes, the energy. I think about Ready and I feel so emotionally charged. Fantastic. And it's really good when we can understand that a word is so much more than a word, and understand that word at an energetic level. As Christians, I know that we can look at things, from a space of prophecy, and that's great. But even when we look at something from a space of prophecy, it still feels like it's outside of us, like we're waiting for something to happen. Like we're here and we're reaching a place of destination and we're kind of trotting along, walking along, waiting to get to this space here. So it still feels like it's outside of us. But when we understand what our word is, it's because we are, and it's ironic that your word is ready, because that word is about us being ready to embrace this new energy, this new experience that God has for us. So it's much more about simply being a prophetic word that we catch up to. It's about us entering into that space. It's about who we need to become, or who we are becoming, in order to experience that word which God has for us. So if I go back to the first words that God gave to me, commitment and perseverance, the only reason why I needed to have those words in my life is because I was deficient in those areas. It was something that I needed to learn how to be in. I needed to learn how to become. I needed to embrace the energy, what it means to persevere, what it means to commit. Because when we think about these words, all these words that we receive, that are downloaded into us, these are generally verb words. They're doing words. They're being words. And that's really powerful. So it's not simply about us receiving a word and, somehow magically that's going to change everything for us. No, it's so much more powerful than that. And so as I was seeing all these posts around about what's your word for 2019, it really dawned on me that at the crossover between 2017 and 2018, I wasn't given a word. And at that time, I really didn't realize that I wasn't given a word. It was only as I looked back after having, these years of having a word downloaded and receiving a word that I stopped. I thought, hang on a minute, I don't actually have a word. What's that about? And it's funny because I think so much happened in my life, December 2017 to January 2018. So much happened in my life. I had started a new relationship a few months before that. I had done a lot of inner work in 2017. I was in a refuge in 2017 to 2018. And in a sense, I guess that I was so busy. I was too busy to receive a word. But that even sounds strange in itself, because it wasn't as if I wasn't waiting. It wasn't as if I wasn't open to receive a word. So when I stopped and thought about it and reflected, so why didn't I receive anything that time? I realized that when I first started receiving words, it was all about the guidance and it was all about the support. So I was looking for a word that would lead me, that would direct me through the next 12 months. And I guess themes for my life, themes to guide and really create a foundation of what the next 12 months would be. So perseverance made sense and commitment made sense, and all the other words that came after that, they made sense. They gave me guidance, they directed me, they supported me, and just gave me a foundation to move towards. But when I entered into 2018, something changed. It wasn't about the guidance anymore. I realized it was more about stepping into who I was being and who I wanted to be. And so I wasn't looking outside of me for a theme anymore. I was looking inside of me into, as I said, what I needed to be, who I needed to be. And there were no words that could describe that. I couldn't pull a single word to describe all the things that were happening inside of me. It felt more like an energy shift. It felt more like I was just this bundle of how do I say it? I can't even think of a word for it, but a bundle of energy that was moving from one place into another space, into another part of my life. And I knew that I needed to step up in a whole new level. And that would require courage, and it would require boldness, and it would require me doing things that I had never done before. And there was no word that could really encapsulate all of what I was trying to express in 2018. And it's only as I've come to the end of 2018, I'm looking backwards at it, that I get why there wasn't a word. Because if there had been a word, I would have been really focused on that word. It would have been all about it. And I would have missed out on the deeper level of work that had gone on, which was, basically to say, to hell with, with just that single theme. There is more that is going to be unearthed for you. It's about you stepping into this energy, whatever it is. And so I know that sometimes it's not always easy to find a word or to receive a word. And if you are struggling for whatever reason, if you're not sure what your word is, then it may be that it's not necessarily about you having a theme that guides you for the rest of the year. It's more about you and getting in touch with what you need in order to make the next 12 months amazing for you, in order to up level in the way that you need to up level. If I hadn't gone through all the changes and transformations that I had, if I had simply focused on one single area or one single theme, then I probably would have missed out on so much, because I was drawing on so many different themes in order for me to experience the feeling that I wanted to experience in 2018. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's about recognizing how you want to feel in 2019. Who do you want to be? How does that person feel? And embodying that. A few years ago, I had a phrase that I used to say, and it was follow your bliss. It was all about this idea of being in tune with what lights you up and following your bliss. And that was a theme that directed so many decisions and choices that I made. How did it make me feel? And this is very similar to that. Really asking yourself the question, who do I want to be in 2019? How do I want to feel? What kind of experience experiences do I want to have? And then looking at where you're deficient now, looking at where you need to step up and up level in order to experience more of that feeling, allowing that feeling to drive you instead of a theme from outside of you to direct and guide you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having a word, but as I said right at the beginning, the purpose of the word isn't for it to be outside of you. It's for you to become the person who can manifest more of that word in your life. And so the two things, they do go hand in hand. My word for 2019 is focus, but I'm not allowing it to dictate what I am focusing on. I know that focus is just a word, and it's more about the energy of the word. It's more about the type of person who is able to focus, the type of person who is able to just have laser focus on something, to not be distracted, to go after what they desire. It's that energy behind the word. So in my group, I'm asking people what their word for 2019 is. And more than simply asking them about what their word is, I want to know how they feel about the word. Because if you don't get in touch with the feeling of the word, how will you know if you're experiencing it? If we don't know when we're experiencing it, what we're then looking for is external validation. We're looking for signs outside of us. But the key to living that life that you want to live isn't outside of you, it's inside of you. You're the only one who's going to know when you are in that place of being ready, or you're the only one who is going to know what it feels like to really shine. You can't expect somebody else to come and tell you what that looks like for you. And that's why you need to tap into what that feels like to you. Because, through the year, there's definitely going to be stuff that comes and challenges you. That's the whole reason why that word is about taking us from where we are now to who we could be or who we are becoming. The only way we do that is through trials, tribulations, through the fire. So we need to know that there's going to be things that challenge us through the next 12 months. But if you can feel into what it feels like to be whatever it is that you want to be in the next 12 months, to experience whatever it is that you want to experience in the next 12 months, then you know how to direct yourself. You know how to pull yourself back up. Yes, by God's grace and in his power, in his might and in his strength. But you're not waiting for anybody else to show you what to do or to try and bring you on track. You can do that. And I wanted to share that with you because as I'm going into 2019, I am super excited about this whole idea of being focused. I know that it is really all about the energy that I'm feeling, the energy that I'm putting out there that will enable me to embody what it means to be focused. And so I am asking you to really think about it for yourself, embodying your word for 2019. And if you don't have a word, that's fine. Think about how you want to feel. Think about where you want to get to and how it would feel for you to go from where you are now to where you want to get to. What does that person feel like on the inside? Who are they being? What do they need to experience in order to get there? And if this resonates with you, then I would love to hear from you. Share your word with me for 2019. If you have one, I'd love to know if you do have one and also how it feels for you. Are you excited about it? Are you nervous about it? Are you worried about it? Let me know because I really want to help you embrace that positive energy that comes from really stepping up into who you could be and who you can become in 2019. And if you haven't already, and if you aren't registered in my newsletter or onto my newsletter, then please do subscribe. I will put a link as a comment in this video. Also, if you're not in my Facebook group, please do join my Facebook group. I'll also put a link on this. And that's it, really. Have an amazing New Year's Eve and a happy New Year. I really pray that 2019 is going to be awesome, not just for you, but for me and for, our families as well, and everybody we meet, because you deserve it. I deserve it. We are all worthy. And that's it from me today. I hope that you do have a glorious New Year's Eve. Take care and God bless.